haven't changed or maybe not changed over time. So I get the opportunity to bring it up with them. I enjoy having my 11th graders because they tend to be a little bit more mature, which allows us to open the floor up for these conversations and try to open their eyes and maybe their minds to different things that happened in the past, and then we can relate them to what we see today in our world. In particular, my history through film class that I created looks at what story do we tell, how do we maybe show or not show diversity in our feature films. They take movies that are considered feature films, so things like we watched Pocahontas, something that everybody would be familiar with, and we look at what bias is presented, what story are they telling, and then the main discussion is usually what is the purpose of the story, why do we choose to tell what we do. So we get to tackle these issues on a daily basis, which I really enjoyed. So I'm hoping that this class will give me an opportunity to view things a little bit differently and take in some new experiences and stories from you guys, as well as our readings that I can share with my students to help us further those discussions. My most memorable diversity encounter was actually as a teacher, and I will never forget this. I was a practicum. This is my first year. I was maybe in my second or third time ever teaching, and my teacher, who was mentoring me, decided that she wanted to let me do reconstruction, which at the time didn't seem like a bad idea, but looking back at it, I was so underprepared for what could happen in that classroom. We were talking that day about the KKK and the rise of hate groups, and one of the students in the back of my classroom stood right up, proud as could be, and yelled, "My granddad is the leader of the local KKK." And I had no idea what to say. All eyes in the classroom turned on him. It was a very diverse class racially, so at that time I didn't know what to do, I didn't know what would happen, and I would like to say, I found something magical to say to turn this into a learning experience, but I was unaware that could happen, and I didn't know how to react to it because it was something I had been sheltered from, that people still were involved in that and thought that way. And so I think I took that in as one of my biggest teaching lessons for me personally. I mean, obviously that you need to be prepared for what could come up, but that I needed to open my eyes to the different experiences that my students had, and that when I'm teaching things, not everyone is understood or felt or thought the same way that I did. I thought that had one of the most lasting impacts on me, especially about diversity within the classroom and within history as well, that some of those things aren't dead. And then for last, my favorite thing about this, I actually love talking about these kinds of issues with people, but I love to talk with people who go into it and they want to share and they want to learn from each other. I love hearing stories from other people because even though I may not be able to live all types of experiences, you can still learn from other people and their experiences if you take those in and you're willing to see or try to see through their eyes and walk in their shoes by them telling you stories. So I'm really excited to go into this class and hear the stories and the insights from everybody else that can help me grow and learn more about these issues. My least favorite thing is when you go into these conversations and people aren't willing to openly discuss and all they want to do is place blame, instead of kind of looking at it like everybody has their own background, everybody has their own experiences, and they're not willing to take from everybody else. They're just trying to push their thoughts and their beliefs onto other people. So that would be my least enjoyable thing to do, or least favorite thing to do when it comes to these type of topics, is deal with those conversations. But otherwise, I am very excited to see where this will go,